Before you get into the next series of lectures about finalizing and printing your documents, make sure you download the exercise file that comes with this lecture. It's called 09 Word Finalize Doc. It's a .docx file. So download that and then kick up the next few lessons. We're going to be using this file right here to go through spell checker, find and replace, printing, exporting, and a few other features. So get this file first. So my kids come home from school and they ask me questions about their homework. One of the things that they ask me quite a bit about is how to spell words. Funny story, when my kids come home and they ask me how to spell, I crack open Word, I type it in there, and I use spell checker. My spelling is horrible. So I want to take a look at here how you can take advantage of built-in to Word spell checker. Get Word to go through and analyze your document, analyze the words within your document, and check to see if they misspelled. And then make some suggestions for you on how you can make those corrections. If you take a close look at my document right now, you can see that there's a few words inside of here that are underlined. They got a red squiggly line. And that's Microsoft Word looking at my document, analyzing the words, and finding what they believe are misspellings. Now, Microsoft Word, it's a great application, but it doesn't always get things right. Sometimes it'll mark something as being misspelled when in fact it's not. Maybe it's somebody's name, or it's an acronym, or something else that means something to you and your coworkers and whatnot in your process, but to Word it doesn't recognize it. So just keep an eye out for those little things. But for these legitimate misspellings, we want to be able to correct them. Now you got a few ways to be able to make corrections. Kind of one-off, I can go to a word, such as this one here, this red squiggly line where it says to make your document look, and it looks like we try to do you are your. So I'll right click on that, just right mouse button click, and it's going to give me some spelling options. I can go into spelling and I'm just going to change it to the first one inside there. And there we go, to make your Word document look professionally produced and so on. So again, you find the misspelled word, just right click on it. They're going to give you some suggestions if they recognize it. And then you get to just pick from that list. Now this is just one way to kind of go through and pick and choose and kind of just one-offs that you want to correct. Now another way to be able to run spell checker, if I go up to the review tab, top of my screen, review, on the far left I've got the spelling and grammar, or the spell checker, and you'll notice the shortcut key inside there is F7. I can just tap the F7 key on top of my keyboard and this would activate the spell checker as well. But I give that a click. And this opens up my spell checker, and in here this is the 2016 release, has been updated a little bit. If you're using 2013 or 10 or earlier, still very similar. But here you get to find the misspelled word. Down below I can see some suggestions that they've given to me. So insert, that's the one I'm looking for, inset, inert. Well, I want the first one in there, so I'll go ahead and select that. And I've now made that update back inside my document. Let's see, I can't even find where it was at anymore, but somewhere over here on the left-hand side. Made the correction. Now it's going to continue going through. I don't have to go to each word individually, because as soon as I make a choice, Word will now jump to the next one. And you can see, let's see, the pictures, charts, and smart art graphics changed to mock. I'm not going Mach 1 or whatever. I want to be able to match. So I look back over here. Looks like mock was a valid word. Macho. Or match. I want to be able to match. So I'll go ahead and select that. And it'll continue going through my document looking for anywhere that it is finding misspellings in my document. Now here, it didn't find any more misspellings, but it jumped into the grammar checker. And Word will go through and determine, well, is your grammar exact here? This is another one you want to pay attention to. Microsoft Word doesn't always get it correct. It does a pretty good job, but it doesn't always get correct, so just watch what it picks from. I'm going to ignore the grammar checker for right now, but they want to add a comma. When you click design and choose a new theme, the pictures, charts, and so on. So they want me to put a comma there after the word design. You know what? I'm actually okay with that. So I'm just going to close out of the grammar checker or the spell checker at this point. Again, if you were on an earlier release of Microsoft Word, you would have got a pop-up window where your spell checker would have been essentially the same thing. You pick from suggestions and you go along your way. So, but that's it. That's your spell checker. Again, go up to your review tab, turn on the spell checker, walk through with Word, finding those misspelled words, or you misspell something, just right-click on it and you get some suggestions right there. So try this out. You may have realized this already, but as you're typing inside of a Microsoft Word document, you may find that Word automatically corrects some of the words that you type into the document. For example, and I just want to show this off here, so I'm going to just drop down a line here. I just hit my enter key there after the word video, and I'm just going to type in something here. I'm going to type in the. Now normally we type in the, T-H-E, right? Correct? All right, take a look. So I type it in here, but maybe I type it on my keyboard and I accidentally transpose two of the letters. So I say T-E-H. Okay. Oops, I misspelled it, but I'm just banging away on my keyboard. I'm typing something out, maybe listening to somebody talk or whatever, not paying attention. Oh, I'll go back and fix that later. But right away, as soon as I hit my space bar to go on to the next word, you'll see that Word will automatically autocorrect. It'll make that adjustment for me. That's very common, just transposing those two little letters, and Word automatically corrects it for me. Now, built into Microsoft Word, there's a pretty decent sized dictionary. Well, that's what I'll call the dictionary. It's actually a big list of commonly misspelled words, their commonly misspelled way, and the correction for that misspelling. Okay? I want to show off this list of words that Word will automatically correct for you. If you go up to your File tab, top of your screen, File, I'm going to go down to Options. File to Options. Once I've got the Options window open, and there's loads of stuff in here, well worth your time to poke around and see what's available for you. I'm going to go to Proofing. Over here on the left, I'll get Proofing. So inside of Proofing, looks like the first option there, Autocorrect Options. I'm going to go into the Autocorrect Options here. Now, just as an FYI and a little disclaimer here, the autocorrect and the spell checker that we just used just inside the previous lecture are the same feature carried across all the Office applications. So if you open up Excel or you open up PowerPoint, you use a spell checker, use autocorrect, you're going to find the same features inside of those applications as well. So just keep that in the back of your head. So here I'm on the autocorrect option, and I can see there's several things that are currently turned on for me that Word will just automatically correct for you. You've got show autocorrect option buttons, correct two initial capitals. You ever do that? You ever banging away on your keyboard, holding down your shift key to make something capital, and you accidentally hold down the shift key perhaps a moment too long, so your first two letters get capitalized? Well, Word will automatically correct that for you. Capitalize first letter of sentences, that's great. Capitalize first letter of table cells, capitalize names of days. So you type in Monday, all lowercase, Word, as long as you spelled it correctly, will automatically uppercase the M. Corrects accidental use of caps lock key. I go to reach for that A button on my keyboard and I hit the caps lock by accident. So Word automatically corrects these options for you. If you don't want it to happen, for whatever reason, okay, you can come in here and you can turn those options off. Okay. Now down below we've got the replace text as you type, and this is that list I was referring to. If I scroll through here, you're going to find the commonly misspelled ways to misspell specific words and their corrections. Two little columns there. So you see that command, right? Command's the word, but they transpose D and N. Okay? Coming, C-O-M-I-N-G, I'm coming to the store, I'm coming over there, or whatever. I just yell it to my kids all the time, I'm coming! It looks like they misspelled it. They did two M's inside of there, so it automatically corrected for them. So you got this huge list, these commonly misspelled words and their appropriate corrections. You've also got up at the top some symbols that you could use. Take a look. I just want to show this off. This is pretty neat. I come back up to my document. If I type in then open parentheses and then do a letter C and then close the parentheses, so that was shift 9 and shift 0 for the parentheses, I automatically get the copyright symbol. That's pretty slick. Let's try another one. I'll do a parentheses. Let's see, I think it's TM, close parentheses, and now I got the trademark symbol up there. And there's a number of them that you can use. Just go back into that autocorrect area, go right back to File, Options, back to Proofing, and Autocorrect Options. You'll find everything down there. There's the TM, there's the registered trademark. You got all sorts of these special symbols that you could use as well. And then, of course, all their commonly misspelled words that we do. Now, something else you can do here, and this is pretty slick, I use this quite a bit, is you can add additional words to this autocorrect. Think about this. Hey, I'm writing out documents inside of Word, and I'm always misspelling my manager's name, right? For whatever reason, I keep misspelling it. Well, I can add my own word inside of here, misspelled, whatever that is, and then I can correct it. I can put in the correct way to spell it. Or I can use this as kind of an acronym system for me. You ever use acronyms in the office? Right? I've worked in many places where acronyms are like everyday use, common language. And when you first get hired into a position, you're trying to learn all these acronyms. Let's try this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, oh, what do I want to do? I'll just do USA. I'm going to type in USA. So now when I type in USA, capital USA, I want to replace that with United States of America. Just have it automatically do it for me. Now, once I've done that, the misspelled word or the acronym or whatever it might be, my manager's name, whatever it is, then tell it how it should actually spell it, I'll hit the add button. So that has now been added to my autocorrect dictionary. And I can hit OK. I'll hit OK out of the options window. And now, I'm going to try it out. I'll say USA, hit my space bar, and it automatically changes it to United States of America. And I'm done. As long as I didn't misspell it right there, and I'm going to double check that, United States of it looks good, then I'm all good to go. And then kind of the reverse is true as well. You can go back to File, Options, Autocorrect, Proofing, Autocorrect, and you can delete these terms out of there as well if you'd like to. But I suggest take advantage of it, not just for the common ones that are already built into the system, but build your own as well. And maybe even play around with your friends. Put some stuff in there and automatically changes it on them, right? If you can catch them on their computer. Anyways, do what you like with it, but neat feature, autocorrect. We've taken a look at spell checker and autocorrect, two excellent features to help you make more professional looking documents. You never want to be able to send out a document that's riddled with a whole bunch of misspellings and improper grammar and so on. So we want to make sure that you regularly run your spell checker. Remember F7, your shortcut key. Now the next feature I want to take a look at is especially helpful when you got larger documents that you got to make mass updates to. Perhaps you got to go through a document that's 10, 20, 30 pages long and you got to find a specific word and replace it with something else. I've been with a few companies that have gone through mergers, right? Companies have been bought, names have changed, process has been updated, whatever it is, and I need to go back through and update documents for the new verbiage, the new names, the new process, the new project names, whatever it might be. There's a feature inside of Word called Find and Replace. Now this got a bit of a facial update when the 2013 release happened. So if you're working on an earlier edition, 2010 or earlier, you're going to see a slightly different interface. I can still show you here on this screen because it's still available, but the feature's the same. The end result is I want to find a specific word or multiple occurrences of that specific word throughout my document, and I want to update it to something else. Take a look. So I'm going to go to my Home tab, top of my screen. On the far right of my Home tab, I've got Find. I'm going to go ahead and give Find a click. Just the word find. And this opens up, again, 2013 and newer, opens up the navigation pane. Now, once again, if you're on an earlier version of Word, you're going to get a window that pops up on the screen. It's a little box, and it'll be your find box. And I can actually show that here. If I go up to find but hit the little arrow, I've got what's called advanced find. This is the old style find. This opens up the little pop-up window where you got find and replace and go to. Loads of great features in here. But I'll go ahead and close this. So here, I can come in and I can search through the navigation pane. I can search for words. So let's pick one here. Let's say we got video. I'm going to go search for video. So if I just start typing in here, video. All right, so it's searching through my document and I can see here it's highlighted everywhere on this first page at least where it's found that word. And here inside the navigation pane, they even give me a little bit of context because they've surrounded it by the paragraph, or at least a portion of the paragraph that it found that word within. And it's called the navigation pane. It's not only a search, but if I click on these, it'll take me to those occurrences. Now, it looks like this document's full of them. I got my scroll bar there. I can go through lots of videos flying around inside there. Now, this is your search, part of the navigation pane. You type in a term, it'll go through the document and find that, and you can use that to navigate. Especially helpful for those larger documents that you need to be able to search through. Now, there's actually many more things that you can do here as a part of the navigation pane. But let's go back to that other window. I'm going to go back to Find, and this time I'm going to do the Advanced Find, or kind of the more traditional find that was available in the earlier releases of Word. So here I've got not only the Find tab, but I've got a Replace as well. So if I go to Replace, I can say Find What. Let me get back to the top of the document. I'm going to say Find What. Now the reason why I went back to the top of the document is my options say Search Down. I wanted to search from the top down in my side of my document. Now I'll go to Replace With. I'm going to say I want to replace the word video, or anytime it finds video, I want to change it to moving pictures. Alright, anytime you see video, let's change it to moving pictures. Alright, now I've got a few options. I can go through and replace, and that will allow me to replace an occurrence at a time. I can say replace all, or I've got find options. The find next is great if you don't want to replace everything, but you want to see where it's at, and maybe there's context that changes whether you're using video or moving pictures. But again, that's an option. I'm just going to go ahead and say replace all. Oh, 24 replacements have been made. Do you want to continue searching from the beginning? Let's just make sure I got everything. All right, 4 more occurrences. I must not went all the way to the top of my document. So 28 replacements. And if I now get back to my navigation pane and go look for video, it doesn't find anything. But if I go looking for moving pictures, look at that, 28 results. Moving pictures, moving pictures. It's been replaced. It beats having to go through and do it one at a time, right? That's something I don't want to do. Unless you're getting paid word at a time, great, go for it. But probably not. So jump in there, use the find. You can find words inside. There's part of the navigation pane in the newer releases of Word. Or you can go up to Find, get into the Advanced Find, and run the Replace feature to make those mass updates to your document. So try this out. Now, after you've gone through and made all the corrections and you've really started to finalize the document, everything's looking great, spelling is all perfect, your grammar looks good, you've made any additional corrections that you need, you're about ready to start printing the document. Or perhaps you're exporting it to some other format, such as a PDF. So first, let's take a look at printing options inside of Microsoft Word. And these are really simple, not a whole lot to it, unless you need to make some extreme adjustments to it. But we go up to File. Ever since the 2010 release of Microsoft Word, it was File to Print. And Print is now built into the File tab. If you're on 2007 or earlier, you go to File, or you go to the little Windows button, then you go down to Print. It opened up a second window where you got your print options. Here it's all built into the File tab. So now I'm on Print. I can just go immediately print this, send it off to the printer, as long as I've got a printer chosen, or you can go choose the printer that you need. If you're in a big corporate setting, you may have printers on different floors and different locations that you can send it to. So you click on the drop down, you go print, or you go select your specific printer that you need. Now I get a nice little preview of the document here on the right hand side. And I also get some of the more traditional common settings that I could just make right here, just make changes to. For example, I'm currently looking at this in portrait mode. Maybe I want to change the orientation from portrait to landscape. Give that a click, and right away I get to see what the document looks like right here in the live preview. Let's go ahead and change that back to portrait. I can tell it to collate the pages if that's what's needed. That way I get them all in the proper order. Don't want to have to do that after you print it. That's a big hassle. I can tell it to print it on one side, or perhaps do both sides if your printer can handle that. You got your paper size. Right now I'm looking at letter, traditional size, 8.5 by 11. But I can go to legal. I can go to a number of other options as well. You got your margins. We talked about margins in an earlier video, but you can change the margins right here to these canned preset options. You can also go down to custom margins and make the changes there. Exactly the same as what we saw in the earlier video about manipulating the margins. Let's see what else I got here. 1 page per sheet. That's great, and that's going to be the more traditional, common way for you to do it. But perhaps this document, I want to be able to knock it down to 2 pages per sheet that I print to. It's going to be much smaller text, but you can do it. Perhaps these are going to be notes that you've taken for a meeting that you're now going to be handing out to people as handouts. Well, we can change that here. So you got a few options just right there at your fingertips. Again, this was just file, down to print, and you got the more traditional common features and settings right there. And then we just go print it. If you want to get a little more detailed with some of your print options and expose perhaps some more print options for yourself, I can go down to page setup. Last little option there. This is going to open up the older window. This has been around ever since I can remember Microsoft Word. You've got your margins where you can set up your orientation. You can go into your paper settings, as well as a little bit about your layout. But all right there available for you. And again, that's just if you want the more lesser common, lesser used features inside of Word printing, you can get into the page setup. But just right there at your fingertips, you got the more common traditional settings right there. So I suggest take a look at them. Just jump in here. You can tell it what you want to print. You can change the orientation, change your margins, or just send it directly to the printer if you're feeling that confident about it. But try it out. Once you've completed your document, printing isn't always the end. Occasionally, I don't need a hard copy of the document, but what I need is a digital copy of the document. But perhaps I don't need it inside of Word because 1, maybe I don't want people making changes to it, or 2, I'm sending it to somebody that may not have Microsoft Word on their computer. What happens then? Well, here I just want to take this document and I want to convert it into a PDF. Let me get back out just to my plain old Microsoft Word screen here. So to be able to convert this, and this is a really quick process. Word does most of the work for you. We just have to have our document open. I've got the 09 Word Finalize doc open, the same one we've been using for the past couple of videos here. I go to my File tab. Underneath File, we've got an option for Export. So I go into Export. First option right there, I've got Create PDF or XPS document. 2 separate types of documents, but I'm going to use a PDF. So I'm going to go over and press Create PDF. This is going to open up my standard File Explorer window where I can go to Save, but you can see that my Save As type is a PDF. Now, that's all I need to do at this point. I can just go ahead and publish this or save it, and it'll take my Word document and convert it into a PDF for me. Okay? But I've got a few other options here. I can say I want to do standard publishing online and printing, or I can do minimum size publishing online. That way your images in there are a bit smaller in resolution and quality will be down a little bit, but file size will be down. So it'll be something that's much quicker to load in the browser and download as well. Okay? But I'm just going to go ahead and hit publish. We'll give it just a moment. Should be all done for me. If I go open up my File Explorer, let me just go find that document. And here it is. I'll give that a double click. Opens it up inside of Adobe Reader or Adobe Acrobat Reader, and there's my PDF. The nice thing about a PDF is it's just about almost 100% keeps the integrity of the document, meaning the layout and the colors and the fonts and so on. And it's not editable. And Adobe Reader, Adobe Acrobat Reader is free. Don't have to download, or I don't have to purchase any additional software to be able to see it. May have to download it if you don't have it on your computer, but probably do. So even if I don't have Word, I can still get in and read these documents. Okay? So again, that was really quick. Let me close this out. It was just File, down to Export, Create PDF. I'll go ahead and create it. Opens it up. You can browse for a location on your computer where you want to save it. You go publish it, creates the PDF for you, and you're done. You can send that off. So try this out. Sharing documents with others is a very important role within Microsoft Word. I mean, creating documents is one thing, and we want to create professional looking documents, but once you've done all this hard work, you now want to get it out to the masses. Your coworkers, your clients, your friends, your family, whoever the audience is. Now, we talked about printing. You get a physical copy of this document that you can carry around with you and send out to people. You can convert it to a PDF. Once it's converted, you can then send that to somebody or throw it on a network drive or whatever you need to do with it. But you've also got a feature to email the document to somebody, all built into Word. Normally, if I want to email somebody a document, I finish it in Word, I close out the document, I go open up Outlook or what my email client is, and I create a new email and I address it and I attach the document and I send it off. You ever forget to attach a document? I do it all the time. People write back, hey, I think you forgot to attach the document. Then I got to go find it and send it back to them. Well, instead of that, just directly inside of Word, we've got an email as attachment button. We've also got an email as PDF button as well. Take a look. I got the exercise file open. I'm going to go up to File, down to Share. Underneath Share, I've got Email. Now, you can see there's a few different ways that I can send this document that I currently have open as an email. I could just send it as an attachment. This will create a new email, launch it up for me, and automatically attach this Word document to the email as a Word document. You've also got Send as PDF, and I love this button. I click that button, and it's going to launch my mail. It's going to convert the Word document that I have open into a PDF and attach it to that email. All in one button press, and I'm done. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. Now, you got to have Outlook or your mail client installed on your computer. So when I give that a click, I'll give it a moment there, so let it think. Looks like it's thinking there. So it's going to generate an email. It's going to convert that file into a PDF. Look at that. Convert it into a PDF and attach it to that email. And I'm done. Now I just address it, send it off, and I can go home or go to lunch or whatever I need to do. All in one button press. Pretty slick. Again, that was just up to File, down to Share, Email, and you got Send as Attachment. That'll send the current document as is, as a Word document, to an email. Or you can send it as a PDF. Word converts it, opens up the email, attaches it, does all the work for you. Really simple. Try it out. Open up the exercise file. Even just send it to yourself. Or just do what I did right there. Go File, Share, Email, and just click the button. See what you get. And sit back in awe.